for severe storms later this week. I've got the first alert coming up. And also right here on
record-breaking snowfall across the Northeast as this blizzard continues on. I'm CB Cotton here in New York City. I'll have all those details coming up.
And also, we are following that story and parts of our area under that red flag warning earlier today due to the dry and windy conditions. We'll tell you where this fire happened that shut down interstate for hours on Sunday.
Live on your side. First Alert Weather Extra starts right now.
And you are watching First Alert Weather Extra Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt. What you're looking at here is a relative humidity values. These values today dropping down into the 20s, but now they are starting to improve some. But you can clearly see why we've been so concerned. When you see these values drop off during the day, winds pick up, it can really drive up those dangerous fire weather conditions. Those fires can spread in a hurry. But the wind speeds are backing off tonight, and as the temperature falls, every night that relative humidity, it will start to go back up. So that's the thing this evening. We'll see that value start to go back up again. But what you're looking at is where we have some of these prescribed burns, some of the fires that have been happening around the state. And if you're downwind of some of these, this is one of the models that we have in-house, and it can actually show you where the smoke dispersion model, how that will impact air quality for the remainder of the night. And by 9 to 10 o'clock tonight, if you're in parts of, say, Talladega County over towards Munford, you may notice a little bit hazy. Looks like into parts of Clay County, even parts of Chilton County and Bibb County. Of course, we've had some of these over the past couple of weeks, some prescribed burns happening over around the forest areas there in Bibb County, but also this one in Winston County. I was noticing it was kind of hazy over Birmingham. Looks like the wind shifts direction some. We might see some of those smoky conditions slide back into parts of Tuscaloosa County later on tonight. But there's how, again, you can see how the wind impacts that overnight. But the air quality levels in Birmingham have dropped off now because of some of that hazy condition from some of the smoke and fires there happening to the north. But that's right over the city. Our latest air quality modeling that we have here in the AccuTrack system. But current temperatures, 35 in Birmingham, is 30 in Coleman, 31 in Gaston, 32 in Haleyville. So yes, we are already seeing some freezing conditions on the map, and haven't even made it to 7 o'clock. So you know it is going to be a cold night out there tonight. Several hours below freezing. Jasper's at 34 degrees. If you have some plants that have already started to bloom out, I noticed last week in the neighborhood already starting to see some blooms. You'll probably want to take some extra steps tonight. Make sure those plants are protected, because temperatures tomorrow morning, we could be seeing some upper teens to low 20s in a lot of locations. This even shows some low 20s all the way down to near the Highway 80 corridor. Look at Rockford, 24, 22 there from the model in Clinton, showing 23 in Utah and Greensboro, so well below that freezing point. And then after that cold start tomorrow morning, the good thing is we'll have some strong sunshine coming back, and that should help us out. More clouds will move in later in the day, so we went with highs in the low to mid 50s, but the clouds thicken up tomorrow night. And notice this, it's been cold with that wind out of the north today. Well, the wind settles, and then it starts to pick up again, this time out of the south, and that's what's going to lead into that next system that will generate some wet weather. And yes, we do have a First Alert Weather Day coming up for Thursday for the possibility of some strong storms and some gusty winds, some heavier rainfall. Looks like mostly we need to watch Thursday afternoon and evening for some of those impacts, but we will be talking a lot more about that particular system coming up. But our primary severe weather season, that spring season, it is fast approaching. And if you'd like to learn more about how to spot storms, how to report them, the National Weather Service is making it easy to learn from the comfort of your home. Here's meteorologist Matt Daniel.
Well, we're entering the heart of our severe weather season. We can see it all around here, and so it's all about weather preparedness. Joining me this evening, I've got Gerald Satterwhite. He's a meteorologist at our National Weather Service. And to tell me a little bit more about learning what to see when it comes to severe weather with storm spotter classes. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, Matt, it's kind of one of my favorite times of the year, not so much because of the severe weather, but because we get to talk about the weather with communities across central Alabama. So these storm spotter classes run about 1 hour. They're online, which is good because you can hop on from your couch or your home office, anywhere you are. But like I said, they're about an hour long, and it's kind of like a severe weather 101. We talk about why we have so much severe weather in Alabama. We talk about some storm features you might be able to spot from your backyard. You know, a lot of people have radar apps on their phones, so we talk about different storm signatures you might see, just to make you more educated about what you're looking at. And we also talk about severe weather preparedness. So as a trained spotter, you can also educate your friends and family on how to stay safe during flooding and other kinds of severe weather.
All right, so just tell us, so anyone at home that's just interested in weather, what do they have to do to sign up for these weather classes?
Sure, if you go to our webpage, weather.gov/Birmingham, it will take you to our main page, and at the bottom, there's a Skywarn eye, kind of like a storm-looking icon. You click on that, and it'll take you to a page where you can sign up to join those classes online. And so it's pretty simple. You get the registration email to you, and you just click to join.
So it used to just be in person, right? So how new is this just online classes? Is this recent, or have you been doing this for a little bit?
We've been doing the virtual for several years, and it's just a lot easier because you can hit more people without having to travel, all over the state. We do still offer some in-person classes. County emergency managers may come to us and say, hey, we have first responders or maybe CERT that we want to get trained on severe weather. So we do occasionally go out and do in-person classes. We do have one scheduled in Tuscaloosa. I believe it's March 3rd.
Yes.
Right? March 3rd, 6 to 8. And so that'll be at the Northport Police Department.
Okay. So, we have weather watchers here at WBRC, and we always appreciate them. They always give us reports as well. I know at the National Weather Service is so important to get that real-time information during active weather, whether trees are down, there's damages to buildings. So when they're attending these classes for 1 hour, what are some of the cool things that they can learn?
So we'll talk about different cloud features. What is the difference between a wall cloud, shelf cloud, funnel cloud, tornado, and like you mentioned, some of the things they may observe in their community. So we're not necessarily teaching people to storm chase or follow storms across the state, but more of being just a spotter based in your community. So if you see large hail or trees down in your neighborhood, you can get that information to us. We'll talk about how you do that, and that can help us with warning decisions. So if we're tracking a storm and we get reports of hail, flooding or wind damage, that heightens our confidence that, hey, we might need to continue those warnings downstream. And of course, you guys help get us that information out.
Yeah, we all worked as a collective team trying to report those informations and get that information out to you at home. But yeah, so it looks like you've got about 5 classes available online. It looks like most of them are on Tuesdays. And just for 1 hour. Most of them are in the evening, but you got one class I see on March 10th that's from 1 to 2 p.m. So it kind of balances your schedule out. Got some time for like lunch break to learn a little bit about the weather. You can do so, or in those evening hours. So really looking forward to it. Even if you know a little bit about how to spot weather conditions, maybe you just want to brief up, get more educated about what to look for. They're great at giving you that information. So the first one's tomorrow, right?
Yes, tomorrow at 6:30 online, and you can get friends and family together. It's for all ages, so some of the kids like to join and just kind of look at the different storm images and that sort of thing. So,
all right. Well, I appreciate you joining us on the Weather Extra. Hopefully, the severe weather season will be fairly behaved and quiet. But hey, we're always here, and we appreciate everything y'all do when it comes to keeping us safe.
I'll say we put those schedules out every spring and fall, and from year to year, there's always at least one day that falls on a severe weather day. It's like we're foreshadowing, so we'll have to see if that pattern continues.
That's why we've got options, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us.
All right, thank you, Matt.
Wind chill has been a big factor for us, but that wind speed starting to finally back off just a little bit. But there's a breeze out there. Current winds across the area at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. And it is so dry out there. It's time to break out that dry weather checklist. And yeah, if you have a humidifier, may want to crank that thing up tonight. It's certainly some extra chapstick and lotion kind of weather. The dew points are very low right now. Very dry, cold air across the region. And that's why, these humidity humidities have been down so low today, and we've been concerned about the fire weather danger. But notice by Wednesday morning, humidity levels start to pick up again. That moisture comes back. We'll notice a big increase in cloud cover, and we'll be watching Thursday for the possibility of some storms and some heavier rainfall. But it looks like that south flow, as you can see, that will be coming back by the mid portion of the week. Just one of the many things that we're tracking. But here's a live look at 6th Avenue in New York City, where about 2 feet of snow has fallen in the last 24 hours. The streets have been treated, but the city is still covered in snow. As CB Cotton reports, leaders in multiple states are asking people to just stay home.
Snow across the Northeast already being measured in feet as this blizzard continues to pummel the region, and officials have warned that dangerous conditions are expected through the evening.
Stay inside. Get off the roads tonight. In our last storm, it said don't travel if you don't have to. Now I'm just saying don't travel tonight.
Many transit systems, schools, and businesses shutting down for the day. And in hard-hit areas like New York City and New Jersey, travel bans were in effect, with many areas experiencing near whiteout conditions.
I'm imploring New Yorkers to stay off the roads. Fewer passenger and commercial vehicles need to be assisted, the quicker we can respond to plows and emergency vehicles.
The heavy and dense snow, combined with high winds of up to 60 miles per hour, have also left more than 600,000 without power. And at airports, many travelers have been left stranded, with more than 10,000 flights canceled nationwide and nearly 2,000 already called off for Tuesday.
I need to get back to Miami. I got to make it back to school. I can't miss a day. I got to get back.
Still, many were out enjoying the winter wonderland, including in New York Central Park and Times Square.
We've been dancing in Times Square this morning in the middle of the road in rush hour. We've been dancing and not believing we could do it.
In addition to plows here in the Big Apple, officials also recruited people to help shovel, with some beginning last night. In New York City, CB Cotton, Fox News.
And here's some video and pictures from a family member in New York, and this was sent to me today by Lacey Sensula. And you can see the snow's just piled up on the streets and on the cars. Central Park is a winter wonderland. I mean, what some views there. The first thing I thought when I saw some of these photos today, it just reminded me of the blizzard of '93. And if you were around for that, you remember that blizzard every time March rolls around. But isn't it amazing? You get to the end of February and, March, we can see it coming, and you have another system like this that impacted the Northeast. But this was just a classic blizzard and a big middle latitude cyclone. They had thunder snow in that area last night, but barking up the right tree. How microbes found in tree bark may have a greater influence on fighting climate change than we thought.
Explore the wonders of weather with Weather in the Classroom. Scan the QR code now to help your kids soar to new heights with Soar with Six.
Freezing temperatures all across Alabama tonight. Temperatures will be dropping into the 20s for morning lows. So make sure tonight's one of those nights you certainly want to make sure the plants are protected. If you've got some vegetation has started to bloom out. Also, as we always say, the 4 Ps, right? People, pets, pipes, plants. Make sure everything's well winterized. But already temperatures out there dropping into the freezing range, and the rest of the night is below freezing. How cold? Well, we'll take it to 7 o'clock in the morning. There's 6 a.m. You can see right there showing 19 at Fayette, Hamilton, 24 around Tuscaloosa, Utah around 23 here in West Alabama. You move further east, Centerville, Brent, Woodstock, all the way back up through Helena and Hoover, Birmingham, every location well below freezing. This looks to be the coldest temperature that I see over the next 10 days. Looks like East Alabama also from center back into Piedmont and Anniston there around 21 degrees. Ohatchee, Alexandria, Ashland around 20 tomorrow morning, and some frost to start the day. But the rest of the day tomorrow, plenty of sun in the mix. Notice we start to get some more clouds back in here as moisture starts overrunning the state. Afternoon highs in the 50s. The sunshine is going to help us out tomorrow, and the wind also settles down in the morning, so very pleasant morning once we get warm up and rise above freezing. But the rest of the day tomorrow, the clouds start to move in, winds pick up out of the southwest direction. Looking ahead to Wednesday morning, you can see some upper 30s there on the map. Not quite freezing, still cold. It's going to be chilly out there as the clouds thicken up, and also tomorrow night the wind picks up out of the southwest, so it could be quite breezy out there for Tuesday night and into Wednesday morning. Wednesday afternoon, mostly cloudy. Not seeing a lot of rainfall. Looks like the temperatures reach into the 60s, though. We will see a nice rebound temperature-wise. Maybe a few showers, though, late Wednesday night. That's when the rain comes back. And here's a look at that next system. First, a look at some of the high-resolution data, and we're tracking a system that will bring some heavier rain and possibly some strong wind gusts, but I do see the possibility of a couple strong to severe storms. We'll need to watch for that possibility. That's why we have called a first alert weather day. Definitely the more impactful system on the way for this week, and that all starts to move on out of here just in time for the weekend. But the instability forecast is not overwhelming, but it's just enough. These systems, sometimes that move in from the north like this, they can be sneaky, so I do want to mention that the possibility of a stronger storm there, especially later on Thursday. But Thursday is the first alert weather day. Again, after that, some nice improvements. And if you have plans, I'm circling Saturday and Sunday, one of the nicer weekend forecasts we have seen there. Highs in the 70s, overnight lows in the 40s, but still, I mean, the temperatures improve nicely. And even next week, that first week of March, we are seeing highs in the 70s with a partly cloudy sky to start next week. But check this out. This is video of a wildfire about an hour north of New Orleans. This is from yesterday afternoon. You can see the flames spreading through the woods with smoke blanketing parts of Interstate 12 as drivers made their way through it. The interstate was closed for a few hours because of the low visibility. While there is no burn ban in place, authorities in Louisiana are asking people who live in the area not to burn anything outdoors while crews continue working. The cause of that fire is unknown. And trees allow us to breathe easier here on Earth, but what about the tiny life living on and within them? Dan Smith shows how small but mighty microbes make for a cleaner environment.
When you hear the words greenhouse gas, your mind probably goes to carbon dioxide, the concentration of which has been steadily rising worldwide, leading to a feedback loop of absorbing and trapping more and more of the sun's energy with each passing year. Methane is another, considered a potent trace gas, and is about 28 times more effective at this heat trapping than CO2 is. We've known for decades that trees are great for capturing and storing much of these gases, yet the ability of their bark to keep the air clean has been largely overlooked. Enter Dr. Luke Jeffrey at Australia's Southern Cross University and his co-first author, Dr. Bob Lung from Monash University.
The end result wasn't something we originally set out to do, but we kind of stumbled across it after many years.
Back in 2021, Dr. Jeffrey and crew were looking into how methane produced by wetland soil is transported up through trees and into the atmosphere, when they realized there was a big gap between input and output, as much as 35% less methane making it out of the tree bark compared to what its towering host took in from below.
Our group had this idea that perhaps methane-consuming microbes might actually live in the bark of trees.
Specifically, the paper bark tree, an Australian icon with a lot of layered protection and a great case study for methane mitigating microbes.
It's rich in methane, it's moist, it's dark, and it just seemed like a too good an opportunity to look deep into the bark and see if these types of microbes that live in soils are also living in trees.
Through a process called metagenomic sequencing, analyzing all genetic material from a given sample, the team found a bunch of those atmosphere-boosting bacteria with the approximate number hard to wrap one's head around.
In the trees we've looked at, there's about 6 trillion bacterial cells in 1 square meter. This is definitely similar to what we find in soil and water, but for whatever reason, no one's really investigated what these bacteria do in trees.
A 2024 study suggests anywhere from 25 to 50 million tons of methane are taken out of the air by trees every year worldwide. Dr. Jeffrey acknowledges they were limited to one part of eastern Australia in their work, yet found many separate points of interest in that region alone.
We looked at 8 different tree species, but even within that small area we found there were kind of distinct microbiomes adapted to each tree species.
Carbon monoxide and hydrogen also act to keep methane in the atmosphere for longer, and the team found specialized microbes that take on those elements and compounds as well. With tree bark having a global surface area almost as large as all the land masses, Dr. Jeffrey says the next logical step here is to take their studies international.
Different latitudes, different tropics, subtropics, temperate climates, possibly northern hemisphere as well, as we expand our search for tree microbes. I think it's a very exciting research frontier that our team is definitely keen to investigate further.
For this week's Moment of Science, I'm Dan Smith.
Teachers, promote literacy in your class by scheduling a book reading with WBRC. Scan the QR code now to help your kids soar to new heights with Soar with 6.
Tonight at 7, catch WBRC 6 News now on the WBRC streaming app with host Jazz Williams. First Alert weather, live updates, and trending stories you need before the night is over. Don't miss what's happening right now. WBRC News now at 7. Search for WBRC in your TV's app store to download our WBRC streaming app. So in addition to the weather app, we've got the streaming app you can look for on your television. Here's the 10-day, and the day that stands out, we've got Thursday highlighted. That is the one we need to watch this week for the possibility of some stronger thunderstorms. It is a First Alert weather day. But before we get there, we got some cold weather tonight, so be ready for some freezing temperatures. But it might be a little too cold maybe to get out there and catch that sunrise early tomorrow morning. But here's what it looked like on Straight Mountain. And this is a pic that was sent in on the First Alert weather app. This was looking back towards Mount Cheaha. I want to thank Brian Stover for sharing that lovely view. We've had some nice days to enjoy those kind of sunsets, and this is what it looked like this morning as the sun rose over Coleman, Alabama, and James Lamont sharing that photo. It just looks cold, doesn't it? Yeah, you can always tell, right? And speaking of sunrises, here's what it was like this morning in Maxwell Crossing in Tuscaloosa County, my old stomping grounds here. I want to thank Chris Haynes for sending us this lovely view through the First Alert weather app. But with that clear sky tonight, it's going to be a cold one. Stay warm out there, everyone, and we'll be updating you on those temperatures and that next system coming up for Thursday.